Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman Ale, and remember, no droids allowed. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cantina here on the GenreVerse podcast network, powered by the big brother of us, lrmonline.com. Go there every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. And of course, sponsored by the good folks over at Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow more from them a little bit later in the episode. You're watching us you are watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please do hit that red subscribe button and leave some comments, things like that. And then if you're listening on audio, go ahead and follow us on that app, whatever app it is, if you haven't done so already. I'm Kyle Malone, and this week we actually have the full crew here. Cam Clark over there in Scotland. How's it going, bud?
Hey, not too bad at all. Yourself?
Doing all right. And the guy that lives in the state neighboring me to the south, Shockey. Yep. What's up, bud?
Not too much.
You kind of slipped out of last week to go experience Star Wars in a way. Cam and I haven't, man. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing last week.
A lot of traveling. So I had some family stuff I had to go take care of first before I could make my way out to Anaheim, and then that was an experience in itself. But flying out, my hotel ended up getting overbooked, so there wasn't a room. So I really just kind of slept in a lobby for a couple hours. Which really, that was it, because like by the time I got to the hotel, wanted to check in, and then you had to get up pretty much at like 3:30 in the morning to get everything ready for, either Friday or Saturday to get into panels or anything,
Is that in terms of how much you need to queue up to get into things? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So to get into the Kenobi panel, people started lining up. So what was that on Thursday? Friday was, Thursday was the panel. And so the panel was at 7 p.m. that time. People were in line by 8 a.m. So you basically not wasted, but you were in a queue by 8 a.m. All day, and just waiting around until 7 p.m.
Wow.
that night.
I don't know if I could actually hack that.
Sounds worse than Canon.
Obviously, I'll be interested to see if that translates itself to London when it goes to London next year, because I just can imagine annoying Brits
better than us.
I'm not fucking sitting around in a queue this long. But actually, the British have a reputation for queuing very orderly, so possibly I'm wrong.
So when I went to, the last one I went to was in Orlando. That was in 2015. That's when the Last Jedi trailer dropped. I was in the queue line. I got in at like 5 or 6 o'clock the night before, and it was noon. It was, so what was it? I think it was, I went in on Thursday, 5 or 6 o'clock. Got in line. Spent the entire night in the convention center. Basically like with my backpack just as a pillow, and everybody's standing around. And we waited around till like 9 o'clock that morning. Then they took us into the celebration stage area, and we sat in there for like 2 hours. So it was like 11 a.m. And that's when Rian Johnson everyone was a big fan of it at that time. And he actually came out in around 11 o'clock at night to the convention center hall and signed autographs till like 3 o'clock in the morning. He basically, a massive line just built up, and people just brought, whatever they could. And he stood there and signed and talked to all the fans and everything. And it was, but yeah, I mean, that was just for a trailer.
Now you would need an armed guard to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just for going to see the teaser trailer of The Last Jedi. That was, that's what, to do that. And so to see Kenobi, the first 2 episodes, and watch it with, technically you say you can watch it with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, is pretty amazing. A friend of mine who I met at Celebration in 2015, she went as well, and her seat, her just lucky as could be, was one row in front and to the side a little bit to Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. She was able to get like a selfie shot, with her and them two in the back. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Well, guys, we are here to for the audience. We're here to review episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we do plan to talk about the news. There was a lot of stuff. The Cantina's mostly about Star Wars news. We might get some time at the end of this episode. If not, we're gonna try to do an extra news based episode to give our opinions on like the footage reveals and some of the leaked descriptions and things like that. Not that any of us ever watched any leaked videos online, not at all.
Not at all.
So but Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 3. We're gonna do like we did last week, guys. We're gonna give you spoiler-free reactions, and then we'll get into some good spoilers and then some bad stuff, or I might flip that. We'll see. Anyways, Cam writes the write-up reviews. If you guys want to head over to lrmonline.com and check that out. But Shockey, you weren't here last week. Give us your non-spoiler thoughts here on episode 3, man.
On episode 3, it was definitely better than 2. It kind of goes. It's more once this whole season or this whole story plays out, then it'll be a better story. I think, in my opinion. You definitely see a more broken Obi-Wan in this episode. I feel, and you kind of see the PTSD he has from Order 66 and the fallout between him and Anakin. You can really see how it really affected him. And so when I watch this, I'm also thinking about A New Hope and that version of Ben Kenobi and how he's kind of and even Yoda too, how like in Dagobah, how they're nomads and hermits and stuff like that, and they're not there, like they're not the Obi-Wan and the Yoda that we saw in the prequels. This kind of connects it. Now you kind of see the true fallout from Order 66, well, at least in Obi-Wan's perspective of it. And then can we get into the last part of it? Is that spoiling it, or is it?
Well, everyone knows that they're gonna face that Vader and them fight, so that's fine.
That to me, like it keeps adding on to that layer of Vader. So I think that, of course, growing up with the original trilogy, everyone had this impression of Vader as being the ultimate villain. And then we get to see him once more, again in Rogue One, and that iconic hallway scene and just how he destroys everyone. But this one was a little bit different. This confrontation with Kenobi it reminded me a lot of the lightsaber duels between Rey and Ben Solo, where you could tell it was more aggressive, not as the fluid, style that we saw in Revenge of the Sith, one of the greatest lightsaber battles of all time.
Just for those listening to the podcast, Cam is right now just saying thank you for that, because I was worried. So
definitely, I agree.
Like not being. For Vader not having the ability to show facial expressions and stuff, like you could tell with his swings, there was a lot of hatred. There's a lot of anger in those swings. It's almost got away from his teachings, and he was using like his raw power against Kenobi and that. So it was a cool fight scene, and setting up for what I'm hoping to be a more iconic fight scene in the very end.
Yeah, absolutely.
But overall, great. Yeah.
Okay. Cam, what'd you think?
Yep. I mean, there's nothing substantial that I would add on to what Mike said in terms of non-spoiler. I really, really enjoyed the episode. I think one thing I would maybe give a little bit more attention to is some moments between Leia and Obi-Wan that I thought that kind of really worked for me and really get into the character of Obi-Wan and building onto the little things that we know about him and the emotions that he's going through. So maybe add in that I kind of like that aspect of it as well. But to echo what Mike said, pretty much happy with the way McGregor is playing Obi-Wan, and this Obi-Wan sort of character arc's coming across. And when it comes to Vader, I was suitably impressed.
Okay, cool. Christine, could you, or Lucas, could you shut Daddy's door, please? Sorry, my door's open and asking family to help me out. Yeah, I get. I mean, look, I'm having to, just like last week, I'm having to try to judge, the show as a show, looking at how it's written, how it's edited, which editing was an issue in episode 2 and 3. There was some interesting choices.
Issues, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
But I also have to fight my disagreement with some of their actual story choices and plot points and decisions for certain characters. So I have a lot of issues with it on that side. However, looking at it as a competently put together show, if it's not beholden to anything that came before it, yeah, it's mostly good. Like, I love this stuff with the Stormtrooper. I love Kenobi and Leia playing off the dead mom thing and the quick thinking and showing Leia's ability to think on her feet, which is something she did in the OT. Someone's got to save us. She was a great character.
She's an action taker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But so on all of that, I thought that was great. There are definitely limitations to the volume, it seems. Chasing and running being one of them. Apparently, multiple people, including myself, noticed not just this Vader Kenobi thing, but also like Leia and her run in the first episode. But like you said, Cam, maybe that's the price to pay for the volume for the time being until you can get a bigger volume or something, Yeah.
And you also had COVID protocols in place and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. So
I mean, there's a lot of things, but it is noticeable. Which kind of really does suck when you're trying to make something feel intense, whether it's a like horror movie chase intense or a speed intense. If it's too slow, you can't even really get the horror movie intense right. The distance, man, that is one of the things I noticed most at the end, but we'll talk about that later. Cam, try to remind me to grade this at the end of the episode.
Of the whole thing, or before? Are we doing grading before we do spoilers?
We'll grade before spoilers. That's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about that. Okay. Cam, what do you give this at?
I gave it in my written review as well, A-. Okay. A- for a couple of little issues, small issues.
Shockey, what do you think?
Yeah, I would probably A- as well. It wasn't necessarily like small. It just I think once the whole story arc is out there to watch and everything, I think it's gonna add a little bit more to it. So yeah, for right now, A-.
So because and only because of what I feel are some technical issues, not related to my feelings on story or anything. This one's a B+. I feel a lot of editing choices now, like Shockey said, and Cam has even said, we reserve the right to go back and change things if they go and change things up in the story, reveal certain things to not necessarily be as confusing, but just because we didn't see the other side of something. So for right now, it's a B+. It might make it up to A-, but I guess we'll go ahead and get into some spoiler discussion. Mostly on, I want to stick with mostly the positive side. So if you guys came here to see Kyle rant and rave, which I'm sure is probably going to end up being the thumbnail. That's going to be after the
Is that the
ad
end?
break.
That's the
Yeah,
climax.
that'll be after the ad break. So
did I
Shock,
let you know I need to dip out early tonight?
that I will just rage into this microphone by myself. Shockey, man, what were some of your big positive takeaways from this? You can even discuss a bit about episodes 1 and 2 feeding into this if there's something you want to bring on, but the positive, man.
So the positives, I really enjoyed the lightsaber battle between Vader and Kenobi. Just seemed like, I don't know, watching on my television at like 3 o'clock in the morning, it was already dark as is. But there was just a little bit more, like, it seemed like the lightsabers had a little bit more brightness to them, and there was just it seems like the technology is getting a little bit better and better each time we see a lightsaber come out. And so even when they're clashing and stuff,
can you just I just got to know before I forget this point, because I wanted to ask it. Do you guys feel that seeing the native glow from the glow stick lightsabers that they use, do you see that it makes some of the OT duels and even PT duels feel really off now? Because I'm almost used to seeing more actual glow from the cartoons to the sequel trilogy, and now stuff we've seen with lightsabers in the shows. Like,
even in the video games,
it is a
like
drastic thing.
Yeah. Like Jedi Fallen Order,
it's just always going to happen.
Oh yeah, but it's so much more noticeable now. Anyways, go ahead.
So like it's a big positive for me. Anytime
you see
Vader and Kenobi fighting, or just Vader in general, like that's a big plus for me. The little Easter eggs they drop throughout. Or can we go like spoilerish and stuff?
Oh yeah, this is full spoilers, man.
So like Quinlan Voss has survived.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been a kind of a mystery of where was Quinlan Voss during this entire time period.
I read something today that it was 5 years ago that they first announced he survived, and then they haven't said a single thing about anything since then or something like that. So so that Easter egg was cool. And then just the stormtrooper. I don't know. This is just me, but like I always. And this is maybe when I see cosplayers too, I prefer like the stormtroopers, clone troopers and stuff to be dirty, to be worn down. Like when they're, on the planet, you could tell these were worn, these were veteran stormtroopers. I never when they were on planet California.
Yeah, exactly. I understand being on the Death Star, you're going to be pretty clean and stuff like that. But like, even on other planets and stuff, we only got like kind of a scene, like a scenario of that with episode like A New Hope, when they're on Tatooine. You can kind of see the sand effect on the stormtroopers, but it was
because they were shooting it live, and there was literally sand blowing all over them,
and there was no CGI to clean them up and everything.
Nope.
And so like I'm very appreciative of, like, when I go to these conventions and I see cosplayers take the time to dirty up, so when they dress like clone troopers or stormtroopers, because that to me shows that it's somebody who's a veteran and stuff. The twist with I cannot think of the name of the character for being an Imperial officer. Not Reva.
Oh, Tala or Tarla?
Is it Tarla? I think it was.
I think there's an R. I'll look it up.
Okay.
It's on my review. But,
oh, it is? Okay,
Tia.
I've got that. I've actually got that up.
It's Tia or Tala. So if you look down to that bit of the review, you'll find the spelling. I can't remember now.
That kind of twist was when they, when it was a little tense scene there, Kenobi and Leia kind of cornered by the stormtroopers. It wasn't really much of a shock, there. I think they could have let that play out a little bit longer. But
I was quite surprised they didn't at that point get the lightsaber out, but I guess he hasn't really ignited it yet, so I guess they were kind of waiting for that moment when he does to be quite important at that point when he does ignite it, when he does. So I kind of get that, but yeah, I was surprised at first, but then I guess they found a way to get around about it. You could argue if that had gone on longer, he would have, to protect Leia.
Tala, but Tala.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then the Inquisitors didn't really bother me this time around. I mean, in my quick review of 1 and 2, the Inquisitors were the weak point, I think, in the first 2 episodes. I think, I don't know, I guess from watching Star Wars Rebels and seeing how they were introduced there, at least they don't do the helicopter flying right now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But
they were a little stiff.
Yes. There's this whole animosity towards each other, and maybe it's dealing with Reva and because Star Wars Rebels takes 5 years after this.
It's a bit after this. Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is, because in Star Wars Rebels, the Inquisitors are very like tight knit and work together as much as possible. You don't see this animosity going back and forth between them. Even in Jedi Fallen Order, they're not at each other's throats. So I don't know, maybe if that's what's playing in because of the storyline with Kenobi, but
maybe they're playing it that Reva's the catalyst of that, because she's the unknown factor of this.
True.
At the moment, because we knew of that sister's existence, but we'd never seen her in anything before, but knew she existed somewhere.
Interesting. Any other big things you want to talk about on the Vader Obi-Wan battle or anything before we hand it off to Cam?
It was the only thing that was funny to me about it was that so Vader ignites the fire, but doesn't have the strength of the Force to get rid of the fire. That was the only thing that was like kind of like, so wait a minute, he can start fire with the but he can't just like move.
We're going to get
into
the negative.
Yeah, we'll get to
that. It wasn't a negative. It was just like
it's a negative.
Well, I had a few issues at that scene as well, but
stormtroopers, I can't see him.
But at the same time, what to bring it back positive? While I did have a few issues, they weren't enough for me to not really, really enjoy the duel between Vader and Obi-Wan. I like duels when they've got, all right, Revenge of the Sith's supposed to be them, the two of them at their absolute peak. I felt it was lacking a lot of emotion. I like duels that have got a lot of emotion in it, and this fight did. And there was probably more dialogue between them, even though it's mostly from Vader. There was probably more of dialogue between them there is in that entire fight in Revenge of the Sith. There was certainly more emotion shown, because although McGregor didn't have a lot of dialogue, he just looks horrified throughout the fight.
You can see the fear.
It's fear. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You have to accept that this point Obi-Wan has succumbed to his fear, whether it's fed by guilt, and we see him feeling guilty when he does see those names and Quinlan Vos, and there's these Jedi out there and they're helping people. And he's just hiding, and thinking everything's lost. Well, there really is people out there trying to kind of fight the good fight. And I think he feels guilty at that point. And, obviously guilty for everything that's happened with Vader and just horrified at what he's become. And I think the brutality of Vader was unexpected for a Disney Plus show, 100%. But it was all the better for that, because I think that brutality speaks to Obi-Wan in the scene as well, and it's what ultimately persuades him more than kind of trying to save Leia at that point, is to just get Vader to stop killing people and go after him. But unlike the A New Hope version that's kind of ready to die and very calm, he's scared, and he doesn't really, believe in himself at this point.
I think he's not looking forward to having to dance around so much to beat Vader again. I mean, dance-offs are tough, man.
Maybe that's what it is. And he's thinking, this guy's not going to be able to twirl his lightsaber around his back. He's going to fight properly now. Yeah. And I don't know how I can deal with that. And I think just what shows you is as well as when Vader literally just picks him up. It's not like he's doing that to just any dude. He's doing that to Obi-Wan Kenobi, an experienced Jedi master, and I think that shows how rusty Obi-Wan really is at this point, and the fact that he's not been using the Force, and he's mentally in a really bad place. I think they're doing that story justice, and I think it's good to give. I mean, obviously, we know where the arc is going because we see the Alec Guinness version and A New Hope, and he's almost Zen-like, in terms of, and enthusiastic and hopeful in a way, which, is not this version of Obi-Wan. I loved the little moment, as I kind of alluded to in the non-spoiler bit, between Leia and Obi-Wan, and she basically says, "You knew my mum," and they just have this kind of nice moment between them. And I thought it was quite nice when she actually asks him, "Are you my real dad?" And he genuinely kind of says, I'm genuinely not, but I would be very happy to be. You know what I mean? It's a really kind of touching scene between them. And then he goes on to talk about sort of memories that he's had of his own family from when he was very young, and he remembers a shawl on his mother, and he knows that he had a brother, but he doesn't know his name or anything about him. But that the Jedi then became his new family. Just like she's got her new family as well. I really enjoyed that ride in the back of the
Same here.
The transport. It's just a pity that mole face guy was a bit nasty. He could have just let them through. You better check these guys out.
He was loyal to the Empire, man.
I know he's loyal to the Empire, but these were literally just two people that he picked up. He had then had them. Why didn't he do it with the previous stormtroopers?
Yeah,
I
agree.
Those ones.
Hey guys, could you feel these guys out?
Yeah,
quick?
If they've just sat in the back and talked away to stormtroopers, why would he then kind of do it later on? But I know, plot sometimes has to be squished in to get things where you need it to be. But it was okay. But that the duel, Vader being a badass. One thing I said on our kind of Discord is that whenever Disney have done Vader, they have done him well, whether that be comics, whether it be anything that they've done animated, whether it be the very few times he's appeared in live action since Disney took over. They've took great care and attention to make Vader an actual badass, and I'm kind of thankful for that always.
In general, yeah. We can question the endings scene, of course, a bit, but
we will.
Other than the things that I've said, I agreed with you guys. The one thing I'd like to add is I loved the good solid attempt until you can see the limitations of the volume, the horror movie chase. I'm a huge horror fan. That was one of my favorite parts of the Batman. The fact that Reeves made a killer stalking chase scene with a freaking car. Like, it was beautiful. So I really liked that here. I liked Vader not talking for a bit. I liked him killing indiscriminately. I liked Obi-Wan leaking the Force through fear, and Vader picking that up and looking and feeling. Vader trying to coax Obi-Wan out with his, like I said, indiscriminate killing and stuff. I appreciated what they tried to do, but I'll say this, guys: if you're going to do some chase scenes, you need to try to figure out how to get it to somewhere you're not going to use the volume, because it feels rough, and Vader moving slow. I love that. It was literally watching Obi-Wan each time he tried to jog off. The actor just didn't have I guess he didn't feel the spatial. I don't know what, he didn't feel like he could take off at a full speed, like there wasn't enough room or whatever the case may be. And if that wasn't in the volume, then you guys really need to figure out what went
that
wrong
could have been helped by putting some obstacles in place, by making them move through something a bit slower.
But it does just, it looks like, so I went back and watched it a few times, especially the first time that he runs off. It is just so like, here I go, but like I said, I can see points about how, depending on where and what they were using to film, that is potentially part of the issue. But I loved that, and I like Vader. I didn't get all giddy seeing him suit up this time because of the person that's in the suit. I said it. Send me the hate mail. Don't down thumbs the video for me. Chew me out in the comments. But I did love seeing him, and I love the lightsaber, and I think seeing Vader
What about the
again
scene
with
where you see Anakin in the background? You know,
I dug that. I like that. I almost
done,
wish we had seen a little bit more of that, even in the first episodes, like him being haunted by the ghost, not just the memory like flashback stuff. I like that. I thought that was good. Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess we'll go ahead and take a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back and listen to Kyle bitch for 20 minutes. No, I'm joking. We'll see what happens.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Can't help how you feel.
No, that's actually a newfound glory lyric. Way to go, Cam! You just made my day. Accidentally
That's how
quoting,
bad the lyrics are.
accidentally quoting newfound glory. Oh, and thank you, Grow Generation for sponsoring. So spoilers, bad stuff. All right. Again, guys, this is my opinion and my opinion only. Please do not downvote the whole video for my opinion. If you agree with Cam and or Shockey, attack me in the comments, or come at me in the comments or whatever.
It's not that we don't have any criticisms. It's just
I know.
There is
But I'm about to Leia is getting too damn involved. She's asking too many questions about the Force. Obviously, to me, it feels like she knows there's something different about her. Her question about what does it feel like and things like that it reads to me like, I have these weird feelings. Maybe it's the Force, hearing whispers of Jedi while Bail is around, or on Alderaan and former Jedi sympathizers and stuff. You can see how she would have some interest in it, but it's dangerous given what we see in especially Empire and especially Jedi. The fact that again this whole Ben versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I stand by the fact that she's spending enough time with his face, the time she would spend in the Imperial Senate and Alderaan. You can't tell me that she never once ran into some archives. I still haven't seen any translations on the wanted poster if it says Obi-Wan Kenobi on it or not. But then she's standing like 5 feet away from him in that safe room when Tala says his name, and it's not whispered. It's just, I didn't think Obi-Wan Kenobi would be scared or whatever it is that she said. And I'm just like, it may, oh my God, guys, and I know people could be like, well, she's just appealing. She knows his name was Ben in the prison thing, and that's because Lucas wasn't using it as like a secret nickname, like they've come to use it. Mm-hmm. Again, I point out, if she had this great thing and she remembers him at all, she wouldn't appeal to Kenobi in the name of her father. She would have been like, hey, you remember that time we went half across the galaxy because I was a dummy and ran out and got kidnapped, and I'm being jocular. Of course, bad things happen to kids doing innocent things like playing outside, but it is stepping on, bending, and in my mind, even breaking the canon for the OT in a completely unnecessary way, because you could have had a lot of these moments limiting the contact that they had together, and even using a third party, Tala, another Jedi. That theory we had, the young Jedi that gets killed in the first episode, being one of the reasons Obi-Wan goes off planet, and have him be the primary interaction with Leia, third party via Comlink and Obi-Wan, and there's other ways that they could have worked around it. But that being said, I do like a lot of their interactions. If
that's what I was going to say. Like,
wasn't right there.
The interaction between the two of them have actually been one of the highlights of the series for me. So you couldn't have got that. Well, no,
we could have gotten.
Not if there was a third wheel there.
We could have got, if they didn't use Leia. That's the other option. But that's neither here or there.
Make him, You know, what would make him leave Luke? That's the thing.
Like I said, if you have that Jedi there and brings the Inquisitors, getting that Jedi off that rock and getting Kenobi to lead them away would be reason enough. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. So I can't stand that crap. It drives me freaking bananas. And then number two, I'll say on the technical side, I'm having an issue with the AI assisted. I don't know if there's an actual voice actor behind it with the James Earl Jones.
Well, he's credited in the episode. Mm-hmm. That's all I would say, but that doesn't necessarily mean...
It doesn't. We know it doesn't sound the same as he did in Rogue One. Mm-hmm. So are they using just his recorded lines and a computer? Are they using him like they do Mark Hamill and then playing the computer stuff over it, mixing it together? Or is it all computer? I don't know, but it feels off to me. And Cam pointed out something that maybe they wrote it to reuse so many movie lines, but honestly, it just sounded like the AI had taken the movie lines and tried to restructure them. And that's not me saying that I want, because I've been saying for a while, man, James Earl Jones can't do Vader's voice much more.
It didn't sound quite
in a
right
new recording.
In Rogue One.
It didn't. He sounded old, and so I appreciate what they're trying to do, and I'm no audio.
And he's getting paid for it.
He is absolutely. I'm no audio file where I'm like, oh, I need to open back headphones and noise isolate. No, but I've got an ear for some things, and it just sounds off. The voice sounds good, but the flow is off. It doesn't feel Vader natural. And I know Vader's not Vader is an unnatural thing, if you will, but it doesn't flow right. And then the editing choices, where Leia's trying to turn on Lola, they screwed up their takes on the AB footage of, when you're talking and looking at a reaction, and she's holding this button and trying to turn Lola on for like 15 seconds when it normally isn't like that type of thing. The technical stuff in the duel we've already discussed. All these little things are annoying, and then we get to the final freaking scene. The final thing where Vader is torturing Kenobi. Love it. Like, come on, raking him through fire, dragging him with. I mean, Vader's doing the Vecna thing, or Vecna's trying to do the Vader thing on Stranger Things this past week, and we're getting a lot of people held up and choked and killed in midair. That's great. I'm down with it. And then the T'Challa, traitorous Imperial, she's betraying the Empire. She shoots him, or shoots the thing to distract them, shoots a stormtrooper and all that. Helps Kenobi get away using this droid, and Vader just sits there and watches it happen. Doesn't do anything about it. And I got what some people are saying, where it's like, oh well, maybe he wants to play. He didn't want Kenobi. He's ashamed at how Kenobi is so weak and pathetic. And I'm like, look, if he wanted to grab him and torture him, he still could have. He could have put out the fire. He could have stopped the droid. He could have lifted Kenobi up in the middle of the air. I mean, in the canon comics, we've seen Darth Vader bring spaceships down. Like fighter ships, X-wings and TIE fighters. And shit, and smash them with the Force.
You do have to apply that to like the OT. Then how many moments in the OT could Vader have stopped the Millennium Falcon escape?
No, he doesn't need to do the Force. But he just lifted up several Force people. He could have done that. He could have used Force to put out the fire. He could have Force crushed the droid. And if the goal was to capture Kenobi so he could do more torture, he could have done that. The whole idea of Vader just letting him go really needs some better explanation than I have to fight him at his prime, because that's some freaking Goku shit from Dragon Ball, where it's like, no, I can't fight you when you're down. I want to fight you at your prime. So Kenobi's gonna go, listen, Cam's said it, Eye of the Tiger, and get pumped up with what, Qui-Gon Jinn, and then come back and fight. That's stupid. I hated that with a passion. And honestly, if it really does come down, I can't believe that was my former master. I sure hope he gets a lot better before I fight him again. That's gonna suck.
Dialogue anyway. But
oh my god. So yeah, guys, that like if I'm grading this on how much I actually enjoyed the episode, this was a fucking D. I hated so much of what it was just bumping up against to, and the fact that it's executed mostly well, other than some of the technical stuff, just makes it so much worse to me because I can't turn it off. I just can't. I wish I could. I'm not trying to be like a pretentious asshole. I'm better. I can't. No, I wish I could. The same with Marvel. Same with Rise of Skywalker. They shit all over Vader's redemption arc with Rise, in my opinion. Yeah. Not to mention wasting half the movie retconning The Last Jedi, which I don't like all that much. But fuck, you wasted time. So it's not just this. It's not just because it's prequels. Marvel, Star Wars, there's even anime I'll bitch about for doing stupid things like this, but it's infuriating. So, Cam, rebuttals.
Well, I mean, I had a similar issue to you with why Vader just kind of. That was the first thing that popped into my mind, was that why is Vader just watching this droid pick up Obi-Wan and take him away when he could just go like crush the droid. Mm-hmm. And then walk around the fire, you know. So, but what I always said to you, and this is true of everything that I watch, if it's good, I will explain away the inconsistencies if I can through some headcanon reason. And I think we all kind of do that, because when you're into this geek stuff like we are, very rarely does somebody make something that just makes perfect sense, you know, in every way. Yeah. There's always little, you know, Deus Ex Machinas or, you know, little plot points, you know, when they're so obvious and the quality of what you get isn't any good either, like Rise of Skywalker, you know, which is full of these moments, but they're somehow amplified. They're amplified beyond
so crap.
the level that they're noticeable. And I think my point of view on Obi-Wan Kenobi this week is, yeah, I had some issues with that. There's another one I want to mention as a kind of negative, and it's the way they did the whole tunnel scene. Right?
Oh yeah,
right.
The editing for that. Who got around who?
So Leia and Tala walk up the tunnel. Obi-Wan goes. Vader chases after him. Mm-hmm. Reva comes in. We see the loader walk out. So okay, we're supposed to assume Reva's back by this point, although she just left Leia like 10 seconds ago, right? She's supposed to have come back at this point, because, or else why would the loader not still be standing there, right? It must have received instructions. Then Reva goes in, finds a tunnel, and then next minute, Reva's where Leia ends up, and the guy's dead. Now, I get what's supposed to happen here, and it can work. It's just that this is where I'm talking about. It just, the editing didn't work quite for me. What they needed there was like a little shot of Reva thinking, you know, almost like this goes somewhere else. Close the door and you see her walk out and head like somewhere else, so that you know she's on her way to the destination, not, you know,
going through the same tunnel system and somehow getting around her and her not noticing.
And if we had saw a little scene of Tala come out and, you know, tell the loader something, then escape through another side door just before Reva comes in, like something little like that would have helped sell that a little bit as well. But
I agree.
Yeah, it just caused me just a few little issues with that. So those were my kind of two negatives, if you like, a little bit of the pacing. But, you know, in terms of a rebuttal to you, I think it's how much you're able to suspend disbelief. It's how much something gets you. And if the quality is really good, I'm prepared to kind of give things a little bit more leeway when I'm getting gold, like the stuff between Obi-Wan and Leia and the actual fight. Yeah, if I had done that, I wouldn't have had it end that way. I know they need to split them up. Plot-wise, you need to split them up. I would have found a better way to do it that didn't seem as obvious that Vader's just let him walk away. I would have, and I would have fixed the editing in that scene, a couple of little bits like that. I would have fixed here and there, you know. But other than that, you know, it would have been an A+ episode for me if it wasn't for those little niggly bits. So that's where I've already marked the episode down, because some of the good stuff was so good. So that's my point of view. Mike, what rebuttals do you have to
Or
Kyle's
you got to give me something that you think is
something that
negative,
you think is
Mike.
negative, yeah.
At least one.
From this episode, I agree with you guys. The editing was a little off. There was like some little, and it's just kind of little tidbits here and there. It wasn't overall a bad thing. Kind of the kind of like what you've mentioned, Cam, with the tunnel scene, and then Kyle also too with Kenobi running away from Vader. It was very choppy. You didn't really get that like sense like he was really running for his life. It just seemed like he kept on turning a corner, and there was Vader, and there was Vader, and there was Vader. You know, it was almost comical at that point. You know,
I knew what they wanted to do, and I was excited, but it didn't quite come off as well.
Because you can't have. We all know you can't have Vader run. That's his one weakness.
Well,
you can't run.
Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees don't run. So
right, no, exactly. I know. Yeah, but usually the teenagers just fall over and they're like, I fell over a twig. I popped my head, and it slows them down and shit. But you can't have Obi-Wan Kenobi doing that, you know. So
yeah, I mean,
not a 17-year-old cheerleader.
Yeah, I think just based on this episode alone, the editing was just some decisions with the shots and editing. Who knows? Could have been because of COVID. Could have been just, you know, there's some things. So some things that I'd heard from the early parts of the story, early scripts of the story that haven't made it in. That maybe they cut them, you know, and stuff. That so maybe that's why they did it. But no, when it comes to Vader though, and you're in the fight scene, and specifically like letting Kenobi go, the way I saw it, and it might be me just being off, is that it's almost goes back to the battle, you know, on Mustafar, where Kenobi has defeated Vader or Anakin, and he's sitting there charred up, and he just walks away, and he doesn't kill him. He says he assumes that he's gonna die, I guess, but he doesn't.
In the novel, he straight up says, I won't save you.
Yeah, he won't save you, but at the same time, like, he doesn't. He
walks off to let him die.
Walks off, right? And so it's kind of like, to me, the parallels to that, and you know, is Vader's defeated Kenobi. He's dragging him through the fire. He's burning him, just like, you know, Kenobi allowed, you know, Anakin to go through and stuff, and the suffering and the pain. And so it was almost kind of like, okay, you let me live this go around, I'm going to let you go, and you're going to burn and be charred too and stuff. And you're going to live with that pain that I did, and we'll meet again. You know, it's kind of, it's almost like he's toying with him, you know, in that aspect of it.
On that point, I think the combat between them, I think once he realizes how kind of feeble Kenobi really is at this point, I think he does start toying with him in the fight.
Yeah.
Like, he only
we
uses
need context
one hand.
for it.
He just used one hand
the
whole
look
time.
How powerful
you know?
I am. But the ending, Mike, like, I can see drawing that. It's not clearing enough to me.
Right,
there should have been some, and they can add some dialogue in the next episode.
What if he had said something at the end, Kyle, like,
"You're pathetic. I've
Kenobi.
defeated you. Yeah,
I will find you again."
Something like that.
You know,
it could have been. It could have been like director's choice. Like, I'm going to leave it like almost like a cliffhanger here, making people think and wonder, why didn't Vader just go after him there? Why didn't Vader just part the fire? And then
I hope so.
Maybe that's like a discussion he has with the Inquisitors. Is maybe the Inquisitors, like, you know, because why didn't you get him and stuff like that? And maybe that's where you get a little bit more knowledge into it. I hope. Maybe not,
I hope so.
You know? But to me, that's what I took it as. I took it as is that he had him, and he kind of just says, look, you know, I'm going to drag you through the fire like you did with me, but then I'm going to, you know, when he escapes, it's kind of like,
going to regret it. He's going to regret it.
I was going to say,
well, Kenobi regretted it, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't
should have killed the dude right then and there on Mustafar, never have an issue.
The guy
well, he would
twisted...
have, because then the Empire would still be running the galaxy, because there would have nobody to kill Sidious. And he would have had a new apprentice. But anyway, yeah.
I don't see the guy that just snapped a guy's neck. I don't. While yes, I agree with him toying with him there, I just don't see him as being the cat that lets their food get away so they can chase it again. Vader can go and kill anyone anytime. He's got all sorts of pet projects we've learned from books and comics. Like I said, I could see the line to draw there, but again, it starts even getting back into Disney. If that's the line they want us to see, well, then we have to ignore all these other lines you've drawn before, and like I said, that gets annoying. It gets frustrating to me.
Yeah, but also you got to think too. We got to go all the way back to A New Hope and the conversation that Kenobi and Vader have on the Death Star. You know, last time I met you, I was but the learner, but now, you know, I'm the master and stuff. It's like maybe there's something else that Vader still needs to learn. Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, and we don't know. I don't know if you know anything about this, Mike. So I'm going to just stress that Kyle and I haven't read any of the spoilers, but you know, I know that you sometimes were hearing information, you know, that you didn't tell us because we didn't want to.
I don't want to ruin it. Yeah.
Ultimately, so you know, so bear that in mind. But I mean, my impression would be kind of like in a non-cheesy way, but as Kel said, is that, you know, he's going to do some Rocky training and come back and beat him the next time. You know, I feel like, you know, he needs to humble Vader a little bit. You know, we're going to see him become that Zen. You know, he's going to follow the Force and he's going to let the Force guide him. You know, and he's, you know, going to become the powerful Obi-Wan that, you know, that he really is in A New Hope. Because as much as we can argue about the fight wasn't very good these days, but Obi-Wan's never at any point badly losing the fight against Vader in A New Hope. He's just stalling the whole time, just stalling until he doesn't need to do it anymore. And then, you know, he gives him that parting line and says, fuck you, I'm going to come back as a spirit ghost and we'll see how you like that, bastard. You know, see you later.
Yep.
And he's gone. You know, and to get to there, I think what we need is for Obi-Wan to beat him again, to humble him a little bit again, kind of for that to make sense when we get to A New Hope. Yeah.
And this time too, like, so in this fight scene, Kenobi's fighting Vader because he's trying to protect Leia, buying her time, you know, to get out of there. This go around, it will be to get Leia, you know, and there's a lot more on the line now, you know, and he knows, you know, the meaning behind Leia and stuff.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, unfortunately, my son has his makeup night for fencing tonight, so I will not be able to stay on and discuss news with everyone. So we will do our best to let you guys know our thoughts on everything. There you go. He has to do because you can keep your hand down in foil, but he has got a bad habit of bringing it up to try to protect himself.
Oh yeah.
So if he holds it up, because it's a little bit more unnatural, he kind of remembers it more and doesn't get penalized. So,
there you go.
But yeah, we'll try to give you guys some news coverage when we can. Overall, guys, it's well put together. Definitely better made so far than Book of Boba Fett was overall.
Yeah.
Still Mandalorian sitting up there at the top of Disney, Star Wars.
Don't know.
Disney
I'm not going to make
Wars.
any judgments on that until we've seen every episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I said so far.
And then,
I said so far. Like just so far, Cam, easy. You're not a prequel fan.
Don't you start, Malone.
Anyways, everyone, please do check out lrmonline.com. All these amazing stories on leaks and rumors, legit news that comes straight from the horses' mouths out in Hollywood, or things from the trades, reviews, celebrity interviews, things on Marvel, DC's Star Trek, the Orville, which is a much better Star Trek. I don't know. I've heard the newer Star Trek series are great, but Orville was amazing. It was some of the best like Trek we had in a while. All sorts of stuff. All the podcasts are there as well, and again, you can catch those wherever you get your podcast from, like Apple, Spotify, Google. SoundCloud, Animeversal Reviews. We do anime reviews. And then the Cantina, you guys are watching that, news and reviews from a galaxy far away. Breaking Geek Radio, they do a little bit of everything. Usually have a good movie review at the end of each of their marathon episodes. And then of course, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, doing the Marvel version of the Cantina. We'll be reviewing Miss Marvel in a week. 2 weeks next week. Oh my God, is that next week? Yeah, it is. Holy crap! All of that goes up on YouTube. Hit the red subscribe button, and I also do the genre shot trailer reactions for the GenreVerse on YouTube. So I'm at that Kyle Malone. You can see our new OBS layout here. Our names are down. No. That way. So yeah, Shockey, what do you want to say?
Just continue to subscribe to the channels. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought of Obi-Wan, and what you think the future of Star Wars is, the way the direction's going. If you enjoy it or not.
Absolutely, Cam.
Yeah, echo that, and also we have a Discord server that if you go to our website, any of that goes to the Discord server, links at the bottom of it. You can jump on there. Too. Oh, cool. And you can chat to us in more detail about what you really don't like. You can listen to Kel rant and just mute the channel, if you want. You can chat to other readers and other geeks that are out there as well. Contact, reach out, let us know what you like, what you don't like. Would be brilliant.
All right. And for those of you listening, at LRM_Cam and at LRM_Shockey, those are also in the description box, just in case. With that, we'll hopefully see you in a day or two again for news, and then next Wednesday, Thursday for Obi-Wan episode 4 or part 4, whatever.
Part 4.
May the Force be with you.